You actually are a God service provider. You have officially, that is your ego title. You have already mastered ego on earth. And in that capacity, you kind of left off with spiritual ambition as what you have dedicated yourself to in this lifetime.
Good morning, my friend, and welcome to Friday. It's finally Friday, and I'm predicting a weekend of tranquility and peace. But Sensei says you might have to purge some old anger to get there. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your Friday Namaste today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a dedicated way to love yourself every day. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Sensei Chris Witecki. I work in the modality of psychic astrology, and I'm on a personal mission to live in my heart and help raise the vibration of love on earth. Namaste, my friend, and welcome to Friday. Thank goddess it's Friday. And boy, this has been a difficult Friday. We've been trying to raise ourselves to a higher view, and that's not always an easy task. But the good news is, I predict a calm and peaceful weekend after we purge some held up anger. That's right, we might all have some repressed anger. And in today's Megascope, I'll give you tips to dealing with held up anger. But first, let's take a look at the weekend's zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Friday, October 7th, 2016. Looking ahead at your 3-day moodcast, today is going to be sunny and excitable with a chance of some anger. On Saturday, it's cloudy, spiritual, and rather introverted, but then by Sunday, it's sunny and once again feeling rather sharp. But today I predict sunny and excitable. You might have to purge some old resentments or anger. Now, the Great Human Walk has reached step 15 Libra today. That's the Grandmaster step for Libra. That means our ruling channel is channel 6, I receive. And that means the ruling planet is beautiful Venus. Now, our emotional focus is in 2 stages. We start the day futuristic with the moon in Act 3 of Sagittarius, but by tonight the moon moves into Act 1 of Sirius Capricorn. And our mental focus is offline and spacey. Mercury is between signs at step 0 Libra. So I believe the universe wants nothing but peace and tranquility for you for the weekend, but you may have to purge some old anger to get there. In today's Megascope, I'll give you tips on releasing anger. But first, steep yourself some tea, and let's have our daily tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is relationship knowing. Now, we're starting to move into the later stages of Libra, which is all about long-term relationships, marriage, and romance. And we'll be talking about different qualities of what makes a relationship good or not good from my astrological position. Up until now, we've been working on our relationship to ourself, which I call the mirage. And I thought as we cast off into the weekend, I would give you some tips I've learned about relationship knowing. In other words, knowing when a relationship is working or not. That's a big one. Now, most of my clients, almost all of you who get readings, the first thing you ask about are relationships. And I understand it's no fun being on the planet alone. It's much rather be with someone else, and you certainly want to make it work. And I have a lot of knowledge and different history I've learned from studying people's relationships, both with past life and current life. But I wanted to give you some tips to know when a relationship is correct, when it is working, all right? These are the telltale signs I have found that a relationship is correct. First of all, most often the right person for you is under your nose. A lot of people get involved in relationships over the internet or long distance, or the person is separated because they're going through a divorce. And I have to say, if the person is not available for you right now, right under your nose, In other words, if it's not a path of least resistance, that there's nothing between you and that other person being together, then the relationship is meant to happen. If there is some sort of a distance between you, it's been my experience that Spirit is using that particular relationship that's out of reach to bring you up to a level so you can draw in the one that will be within reach. Nobody likes to hear that because they always like to obsess on something they don't have. But I have learned from all the clients I've seen from unhappy to happy relationship, when they meet the one is right under their nose. It's literally in the grocery store, someone they knew at the office, a friend of a friend. Sometimes they knew the person, sometimes they were like 6 degrees away from the person but never got to know them. But the person is always under your nose. That's because law of attraction does the work for you. You should not have to go out and chase, etc. Now, the second tip I've found is that when you are with the one you're meant to be with, there is absolutely no conflict. It feels natural, it feels right, and it feels correct. And when I say feel correct, you just have this knowing that this is the right person. If you are spending a lot of time wondering if this is the right person or questioning if it's the right person, it probably is not the right person. And don't feel bad, because I believe every relationship leads to the relationship we're meant to be with. We literally have to waken up according to certain relationships until we're ready for the person we're meant to be with. All right? But if there's fighting, if there's arguing, if there's tension, if you're constantly doubting and wondering, nope, this is not usually the person you're meant to be with. This is a lesson that's leading you to that person. Now, that's not to say that you don't go through a little bit of hard time now and then. I think I do see people in love have arguments and whatnot, but when they argue, it never goes to an idea of leaving each other or giving up. It's just that they're frustrated and they want them out of their face. Get away from my face. I don't want to divorce you, I just want you out of my face. So really, truly, when it's meant to work, it does work. And if it's not working, it's not working. My next point is, real love, in my experience, is very quiet. We tend to go for these crazy roller coaster loves because of television and movies and Romeo and Juliet consequences. But from my experience, the people that I would say love each other the most, and the relationships that seem to go on and on and on, are couples that are very quietly loving. It's an enduring love. It doesn't have crazy passion. It has longevity. It has security. It has comfort. But there isn't a lot of drama. And I think that's because love itself is not dramatic. Okay? A lot of times when people have crazy drama, it's due to huge indispositions of the energy. In fact, the more off you are from each other in certain energies, the more intense the relationship can be, because one is pouring down into the other, or the other is pouring down to the other, right? So truly, in true love of give and take, it's a path of least resistance. There's never any arguing. There's rarely any fighting. There's just a quiet knowing that both parties have. Another incident of true love, or knowing the signs of love, is when you are with someone and in love with someone. This is something I worked on for a long time. You will not actually have any interest in anyone else. And they say, oh, men's eyes always wander. Well, yes, that's kind of true. I would say, for instance, man's biology can be triggered by certain shapes and whatnot. But when you love someone, you truly are in love with that person, I found that your heart could never go to that girl you're super hot, that you find hot. You can see that Miss America is beautiful, but you would really never want to, go do anything about it. So you really have an organic, natural sense of loyalty. And I was really happy because when I was going through relationships when I was younger, I quite often would be turned on by other people, and I would start to feel guilty, and I'd wonder if I was really with the right person. And the truth was, I wasn't with the right person. Once I was with the right person, all of that stuff kind of shut down, and my energy felt happy and content with who I had. It literally goes away naturally. And when it does, then you're kind of like, oh, then you go through a thing where you're like, oh, am I getting old? No, it's called love. You're comfortable. There's other things on earth to do besides fall in love. All right? And then the last thing I think is a good sign about relationship knowing, when you know you're in the right relationship, is there's lots of affirmations from other people and around the world. People say you look good together. People say you look alike. People comment on your love. Other people, children, even animals, start to gather around true love. And that's a huge sign, because everyone loves love and everyone loves to be around love, even if it's not their love. So I often find that in the right relationship, you receive signs from your dead relatives, signs on television, signs in commercials. Your consciousness is literally affirming and affirming and affirming that you're happy. And to the point where there's so much affirmation that things are right, your mind starts to question, is this real? Because this is so uncommon. So when things are right, you get lots of affirmation, and if anything, you wonder, can it be, is it too good to be true? And the answer is nope. This is how it really is. When you're in a balanced and loving relationship, it is too good to be true. Okay, I hope that helps you guys. This weekend we're going to be coming into our fairness and balance, and many people on the planet with Jupiter and Libra will be finding their next soulmate or their final soulmate, whichever number you happen to be on. So I want to give you those tips to help you make sure if you found the right one or not. I'm also interested to any comments you have in your experience with love. All right, I'm going to take a sip of tea now and channel the Megascope. This is where I go into my left brain and talk to my guides about today and the weekend, and let's see what they have to say on our way. Did you see that? Sometimes Sensei can be a klutz. Okay, so what comes up for me actually is the anger. The moon is going to be crossing over Mars in the next 24 hours, and a lot of this anger that may come up may be frustration, impatience, wishing things were different now. But what Spirit's showing me is that yourself might be angry with yourself for putting things off so long. Yourself might be angry with yourself for not taking charge when you knew better. And I have to remind you that you have the option to be angry at yourself, or you can be a super cool guardian to yourself and be compassionate and non-judgmental. And whenever I find a lot of anger in myself come up, I just right there, jump in and say, it's okay, we're special, I'm going to let you off the hook for this one, I'm not going to make you feel bad over this, right? But there will be some anger coming up in the next 24 hours, and in some cases, they're showing me that this is the anger necessary to break relationships apart. So some relationships have been holding on too long, and this anger is going to be a breakaway. But just be careful not to vent it on anyone else and to focus it on yourself. In fact, I actually have now some tips for dealing with extreme anger. Step number 1, don't hold your anger back. By denying your anger and holding it back, it actually gets worse and can turn into physical illness or accidents. So you never want to hold your anger in. That's very unhealthy, actually. Step 2, always agree with yourself and never argue during anger. So it's like, I'm super angry at so-and-so. Then you should say, yes, you are, and it's okay that you are. So I always affirm and stand by my angry side. In fact, I make little jokes. It's like, we can kill him if you want to, little Chris. I'll go get a hatchet now. Being on the side of your anger actually helps diffuse the anger, because the anger is wanting someone on its side, which is basically you. And then step 3, once you have your anger kind of under control or in your hands, find a healthy outlet for your anger. So a healthy outlet is the gym, exercising, conversations, long walks, singing, these things where you just kind of wear yourself down. And what I do is I think about what makes me angry, and I kind of channel it into the exercise or what I'm doing. So if I'm literally marching down the street, it's like, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate, I hate, I hate, I hate. Literally channel it into every step, and you'll find that inch by inch, bubble by bubble, you let that anger go. Now, the astrology says the anger is not supposed to last all weekend. It says it's just the last thing that's holding us back before our grace. All right, well, if you're watched over my personal Sensei service, today we're going to talk about Mars on Pluto and where that anger might actually hurt you. And I'm going to get into some emotional boundary issues with yourself about how to release that anger. In your 3 o'clock eye candy, we'll talk specifically about where you are susceptible to anger in the next 24 hours. If you're watching on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. I thank you ahead of time. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me under the handle of CWateki. And if you'd like to know more about the bright star you really are, come on down to SeriousJoy.tv. Did you know I sell birthday readings? Scorpios have their birthdays coming up, and Scorpios are often forgotten. So if you want to give a Scorpio an awesome birthday gift, I'll call them up for 10 minutes by surprise and let them know that life is getting better. Can't get much better of a gift than that for a Scorpio, right? Details on that are available at SeriousJoy.tv. Okay, my friend, I hope you feel good this weekend and restore to your natural beauty and balance. I'll be back on Monday with more. Until then, remember, I love you and live, love, be.